welcome back to Game Douchebags. And yeah, I did the intro this time. Yay! That's weird. I've never done the intro on my own before. So Jay's not here today. He's out doing whatever. So I brought someone else in, and the man I brought in is, I'm gonna sit straight for this, people, because this is very important. This is great. This is great. Because the man that's in this Discord call with me is a man I truly respect to the deepest of my core. The person who I aspire to be in life. He has many names, he has many nicknames, he has many titles. But I'm not gonna list any of them, because that's just like a hassle. I'm actually here with fucking Forrest fucking Sowa, everybody!
Hey, Forrest Sowa, Forrest F. Baby, Charlie Delgado, Richard Benet Ramsey, Foop, what it do? Foop actually is one of my nicknames. And unlike you, I sit back in my chair at all times. I'm not sitting up straight even once. I'm borderline horizontal. You're not gonna catch me sitting up.
I'm fucking having good posture. I'm sitting up. I'm looking around my room trying to figure out who I'm talking to, because we were just talking about talking to someone when you're talking to a microphone. Mm-hmm. And I'm actually looking at my wall right now, looking at this beautiful poster of a naked woman.
So, okay, so I have a quick question about the naked woman poster. How old are you again, Foop?
I am 21 years old.
Okay, so you're 21. Do you live with family still, or are you on your own?
I'm on my own.
Okay, so when you have the poster of a naked woman, is there any feeling of, it's not shame necessarily, like, but the feeling, because obviously if it's up there, you have no shame. But what is the goal of having the poster of the naked women? Because when I'm thinking of, like, if it's like a 16-year-old kid living at home, living with their parents, you'd put that up to let your parents know very subtly that you're not gay. Like, oh, I have a picture of, it's a Playboy poster, and it's like, oh, here's this celebrity on the cover of Playboy. That lets your parents know that you're not getting filthy dick in you. To disappoint your very Christian parents over there in Switzerland or wherever you live. But when you're by yourself, what is the motivation of putting up the poster of the naked woman?
Well, it's not my poster, because I actually don't really live on my own. I live with a housemate.
Okay.
And it's my housemate.
Okay.
And he's Danish, and I think he's a little bit gay. So I think
it holds consistent. You're putting up the poster of the women, because I find with closeted gay men, they are really overtly, like, they try to seem hypersexual. Like, it's the old stereotype of that person really hates gays, they're probably gay. But the only closeted gay person that I knew was in high school. His name was Connor, and he wasn't like hypersexual, but I clued in immediately that he was gay. And I would call him gay, and he would insist, like, I'm not fucking gay. He was go out for like the football team, and he was always hanging out with girls and stuff. And then the next year he came out as gay, stopped doing football, went exclusively into theater, still hung out with girls. But it was a very overt, like, it's a very overt shift, like really trying to convince people that he wasn't gay by going into all these masculine things and aggressively denying it. He wouldn't try to like fight people, and he wasn't putting up naked women posters, I don't think. But it was very clear that he was trying to convince people that he was straight. And I think that might be what your roommate's doing. How is it living with someone who's Danish as a Swiss man? I hear you're mortal enemies.
Well, I mean, it's nice, I think. He doesn't buy groceries, and like all he does is order Uber Eats.
Okay,
which I can.
So he just provides he provides the entertainment on the walls. He doesn't provide food, or I imagine he doesn't do chores. He just puts up porn on the walls.
Yeah, that's like the only thing he's good for, just putting porn everywhere. I mean, I don't mind, it's fun to look at when you're like really high or really drunk. Mm-hmm. And it's just very interesting. Because, okay, the visage of this woman is very, how I say, strange?
Okay. But do tell.
It's like, do you know like the famous painting of the stairs, that crisscross and don't like
Oh yeah.
really work?
I'm blanking on what it is, but yeah, those stairs that like they'll go upside down, like the MC Escher painting, where it's like the stairs are going like ups in corners and weird shit. Yeah.
Yeah. This photograph, I think, or painting or whatever, well, it's a poster, has that vibe because I think she has like two right hands, but
okay,
she
so
has like
I understand that this is like an audio podcast. I'm fully aware of that. But at some point, maybe not during the recording of this, but I'm going to need to see a picture, because what you're describing is it's like it's a naked woman, but it's clearly some weird art piece, and it's not meant to be like a fuck poster. It's not like a woman who you'd flip to the center of, not Playboy. I think they were a little bit more tasteful, but one of those other like really like raunchy ones where women would just be spreading their vagina lips, and it's like, who's into this? It doesn't sound like that. It sounds like it's a naked woman, but it's like Picasso painted it.
No, because it's actually like, like the thumbnails in porn videos.
Mm-hmm.
Is actually just like a pose like that. It's just with like everything spread and like, it's just kind of weird.
How many times have you been tricked with a thumbnail in a porn video? Like you were just kind of browsing and you clicked on and you were like, this thumbnail looks really good, and then you clicked on it and you found the moment in the thumbnail or like the general area of the thumbnail, and it's like, this isn't as good as it looked.
Every single fucking time. There's only like 2 videos where I'm like, this is actually really good, but most of the time it's just really disappointing.
I remember when I was younger, I saw a GIF of just some girl just getting railed or whatever, and she looked like real cute or whatever, and it looked great, and I was really, and it was like a GIF that would get spread around, like it was a semi-popular GIF, to the point where I found it posted on the NSFW section of funnyjunk.com. And I was in the dregs, man. I wasn't doing well. There was a GIF on there once of, it was a camera that was inserted inside of a woman's vagina, and there was like 5 seconds of nothing, and then a dick came in and came. It was an awful video, and I wish I never saw it. But I was like, I saw the GIF again, and now I could check the comments, because it wasn't just like an Imgur link. It was like there would be comments, and someone asked, who is this? And they said it was who's the chick? I think it was Faye Reagan. And I was like, I have a name. I've got a lead. And then I looked it up, and it's like, Faye Reagan doesn't look anything like she did in the GIF. And Faye Reagan's like, all right. But I was sort of let down, because I went on this long chase for this, and I found the scene, and it's like, why does she, like, it looks like the GIF, obviously, because the GIF is just a rip of the video, but this doesn't look like Faye Reagan in the GIF.
Yeah, I know exactly what you mean, because I had, have you ever like seen like the Pornhub comments videos on YouTube? It's like these weird comments on like porn videos that's just like, oh my god, look at that pussy. Hi, my fucking Instagram name. Something like that,
Dude, I read so many porn comments. I don't go on Pornhub. I go on X videos, and I read the comments on almost every video I watch.
Dude, same.
Some of them are really helpful. Like this video, it's like, okay, it's just some video, chick gets banged. It's like, why did I click on this? The thumbnail was probably great. But on X videos, and I imagine on Pornhub and any porn website worth its weight in salt, you'll get a there'll be like the actress who's in it is tagged. This is like a video that doesn't have anybody tagged. I'll go to the comments, and there will be a comment that says, who is this? Who's this girl? More often than not, there will be a comment replying to that saying who it is. And then I immediately go and look into it. So I am someone who I will go and seek out specific people and then view their work. I don't just don't just put into X videos keywords and then look at variety. I need to see your portfolio. I need to see what you're into. I need to have two references. Like I'm not selective. It makes it sound like I'm very selective. I'm not. But I
need a fucking resume.
I need like a resume. I need to make sure that it's like that you're not like a one-hit wonder. Like it's like, all right, well, you're good in this video, and then I click on your other video and you don't ever look the same. You're doing gangbangs, and it's like that's okay for some people, but for other people it's odd. And so I don't want to remember this person's name and really look into them because like, oh, they're good in this video and they're never that good again.
Oh yeah, I mean, I've one porn star that that I really was so much of a fan. I wouldn't myself call a fan.
Yeah,
like,
a fan is a weird word to use for porn stars. Honestly,
yeah, like you're not a fan of a porn star. You're following them because like you think they're hot. And like the one porn star I actually had to with was Mia Malkova.
That name sounds very familiar.
Yeah, she's like I mean, I could describe her, but like she's... Yeah, it's just kind of unnecessary because like, she has blonde hair and blue eyes, you know? That's like, okay, cool, but how big are her tits, you know? But like, she's like what fucking like Alinity or Pokimane would be if they were actual porn stars, because she also has like a Twitch account and stuff like that.
Yeah, a lot of them do now.
Yeah, which is kind of, I mean, I get it because I mean, porn doesn't pay very well, apparently.
It depends on the person, yeah. Like, and also it's like I don't know how porn makes money in this day and age. I have no idea where they're getting the money to keep it. Like, how are they still making porn? Are they?
I mean, most just do it like independently, I think.
Well, yeah, I think so. I think a lot of porn companies got to be dead, right? Like there are a lot of people who went like independent and just started making it themselves. Like I know a lot of like people that I would consider notable porn stars, like the Danny Daniels of the world made her own website and started making her own shit. But I think a lot of them also retired.
Yeah, now that I think about it, like there's like a lot of those like older women, like they were around.
I don't even know, like older ones, obviously maybe they're retired, but like I'm thinking of like someone who I've seen a lot of. I learned like, and you don't ever learn of a porn star's retirement until 6 years after it happens, because all the videos you're watching are from the early 2010s or something, like for modern people.
Yeah.
I'm not talking about like Jenna Jameson or whatever, like the big names, the Rushmore, if you will. But like someone like Layla London, who's great, and I think all of her videos were made in the early 2010s. And then I was like looking her up or whatever, and I learned that she'd been retired for a few years, and it's like, oh, that's a shame. Oh well.
I'm not getting new content for her. Dang it. Like it's either like that, like you just learn later, or like her name is Mia Khalifa, and you hear about it every fucking week.
You hear about what every week? Just her existing?
Yeah, and her like denouncing porn and then going back into porn.
I don't think I don't know. Did she go back into porn? Because from what I've heard, the story with her is that she did porn for like 3 months, 7 years ago. And because she wore a burqa, she got super popular. Is still like the #1 on every porn website. And it only bothers me because she's not very good at porn. The videos are not very good, but she sort of parlayed that interest from young men who are familiar with her past life. She's parlayed that into a lot of like positions in like sports talk. Like she will talk because she likes sports and stuff, so she'll parlay that into talking about sports. And she's done that moderately successfully. I think she started being a streamer or something. Did she go back into porn? I think that her whole thing was that she denounced it because, I mean, it was like 3 months of her life and people only bring that up. And she made no money off of it.
As far as I know, she did it for at least like a year. and then like just denounced it and wanted to do something else, but couldn't really get out of it. Then started denouncing it more and getting into trouble with like legal shit. When she finally got over, and now she has an OnlyFans, which is weird to me because that's basically independent porn.
So here's the thing about OnlyFans that is bullshit. All right, so OnlyFans is something that I understand, and I understood once. OnlyFans was great. OnlyFans, like, oh, these girls are independently making porn. There's a direct service rather than selling it on a website and having to get like a PayPal client, and it's easy to exploit. Blah blah blah. The problem that extended with OnlyFans is because it got so popular. All of the girls who were used to be on Instagram, then moved to Patreon, moved to OnlyFans, and they have their quote-unquote free OnlyFans, where it's the cosplay girls, like the lewd cosplay girls who like show everything except what you want to see, and people pay to get teased and whatever. So they moved from Instagram to Patreon to OnlyFans. And they're showing like, oh, you have to pay $5 to see this. Maybe I'll show something. And they literally never do. And it bothers me because it is genuinely like, it's people coming over who like Jessica Negri and Tana Mongeau and Meg Turney, like just people who are like, you know, tease for money, which I understand, and I'm not knocking the hustle. If you can get people's money from them, fine. But when you move to Patreon, from Patreon to OnlyFans, because that is the new, like if you're Jessica Negri and you say, oh, come subscribe to my OnlyFans, the expectation that exists is you're going to see her naked. And you're never gonna, because she's getting tens of thousands of dollars a month to be able to tease people, essentially. And there was the whole Bella Thorne thing that happened that really just fucked it for every sex worker who's on there doing it honestly. To me, like the lewd cosplay girls who move over to OnlyFans, it's like a weird form of stolen valor to me, where it's like you're saying, oh, come subscribe to my OnlyFans, and when you say that and then people come over and they get disappointed, now they view OnlyFans as that experience, this negative experience. So when there are actual people who are saying like, hey, come subscribe to this, I'm, you know, putting it out there and I have to charge $10 a month because nobody knows who I am. It's easier for those people who got burned by Jessica Negri, Meg Turney, Tana Mongeau, Bella Thorne. It's easier to get upset at the people who are doing it legitimately because they feel like they've been shafted. They feel like they've been ripped off. So Mia Khalifa starting an OnlyFans, that means nothing to me because she could just be dressing in lingerie and doing professional photo shoots in lingerie. So it means nothing that she went to OnlyFans because so many people just don't do nude shit on OnlyFans, and it's all the people who people know already. And they could make a lot of money posing nude, but it's like for personal use, they're gonna just tease people to death.
I mean, they've saturated the market, in my opinion. It's like the array of scantily clad women is just so large. I can just Google like scantily clad women and find thousands of them, and most of them don't even charge like $50. So it's actually like it's just a brand. It's a brand they're selling. They're selling their own, literally their name as a brand, in exchange for lewd pictures that aren't even that lewd.
I do this thing now and then where I follow a handful of people on Twitter and stuff, and they'll have their OnlyFans, and every little bit, when I haven't masturbated in the last little while, I'll subscribe to their OnlyFans. And I almost never do anything with it. Like, I almost never go there to masturbate. And I always feel like a fool, and I never subscribe for more than a month. But then 3 weeks later, I'll subscribe to some other girl who it's like, okay, here's this. So, like, and like, none of them are, you know, the people that were mentioned. The ones who stand out the most to me are people like Meg Turney and Jessica Negri, who are just like, who just do like lewd cosplays. Like they'll show a lot of boob, they'll show a lot of a lot of skin, but you're not seeing all of it. Now, you don't owe me anything to show me your vagina and to fist yourself. I'm not saying that. But if you're on Instagram and that platform is taken away because they want to be more family friendly, and you go to Patreon, which Patreon was used for people creating content, okay, I understand that. Patreon sounds like a great place for you. You're creating content, and this is your content, is your body. Cool. OnlyFans was started and popularized by people who are selling pornography, hard porn. Like themselves naked. That was what was popularized it. So people like Meg Turney, Jessica Negri going and making their free OnlyFans and still posting the same content because that's what makes the money. Obviously, there is a demand for this supply, and that's more of the problem. But I think that selling, because OnlyFans is so popular and such a brand that people recognize, you moving over to that, it's exploiting the work that people actually put in to do, like put in to make this a brand. Like the brand is built on people who are, just basically just people who are sexual on Twitter. Was like, I'm gonna make an OnlyFans because I'm attractive and I make jokes about my sex life on Twitter. I'm gonna make an OnlyFans. And they're successful and it became big. So now the people who moved from Instagram to Patreon are like, oh, well, OnlyFans is the thing. I'm going to go over there. And you get the thing that happened with Bella Thorne where she fucks over a lot of people and ruins the economy of OnlyFans.
Yeah, it's just kind of weird in my opinion because like there's the amount of people that are on OnlyFans at this point. Like, it's insurmountable how many people there are. And the fact that a lot of these people were already famous before they came on.
Yeah.
Like take for example, Meg Turney, she got her start like at Rooster Teeth.
A little bit before that, but yeah, she got bigger with Rooster Teeth.
Yeah, and also like her relationship with the slow-mo guy,
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know if they're still together. I should check that.
They are, yeah.
Fuck. That actually fucking surprised me.
Yeah, you got a little speech like, I gotta go check that. I gotta go see if I can shoot my shot. Let it go, Foop.
No, dude, fuck Meg Turney, man. I just
Meg Turney's a cutie pie. It just bothers me that she steals valor from hardworking OnlyFans girls.
She's like a way too expensive escort. When you can just have like a normal prostitute across the way.
Not even a good. She's not even an escort. She's someone you hire to be your. She's someone you hire to say, hey, I went on a date with this person, and then nothing ever happens from it. It's like you get the clout of being around the person, but you don't even really get the clout. Like she really is like she's selling the tease and. A lot of people enjoy that. A lot of people have money and throw it at her. But a lot of people also, it's taking your pre-existing fan base and moving to OnlyFans. And Meg Turney has a pre-existing fan base, from Rooster Teeth, from her own stuff. She was doing stuff outside of this. But like she has a pre-existing fan base who also want to be, have sex sold to them. But it's not. Now, here's the thing about Meg Turney that I take a little bit of the flack off of her and put it all onto someone like Jessica Negri because Meg Turney did recently, finally posed nude. And it's like, okay, cool. Whatever. It's not the same thing as the OnlyFans girls, and I still think she stole valor. But Jessica Negri is still selling an idea. Show the nips. And then get on OnlyFans. Stop hiring professional photographers. It's a pandemic outside. We don't need to be reminded that you are the 1%. Hold a camera.
Yeah.
Stand in a mirror.
Yeah. Just fucking use your phone and take a photo of your pussy spread. That's all we need, We don't need the fancy photography. We don't need all the fancy outfits and the cosplay. We just want nude pictures.
Do you like the spread vagina picture? I'm trying to get a gauge on how you feel about that.
No.
I hate it.
It's not.
I hate it. Don't show me.
It's not my thing.
I don't want to. The amount of times I've looked at a vagina, I think can be counted on one hand. Not because there have been a lack of opportunities, but because I have no reason to look at a vagina. I hate it. I'm not a fan. It's not a cosmetically pleasing thing.
It's not very attractive. No. Are you more of like a tit man or a butt man?
It depends. It depends. Like, I bounce back. Like, if I'm looking at pictures and video online, way more of a tit guy. Way more. Like, because it is just more cosmetically pleasing. Like, online, because I'm not getting the input is not feeding into my brain directly. In person, like women I see, women I've been with, most of them have, like, the women that I've been with mostly been more tit than butt. But in person, I prefer a butt.
Yeah, I've always been more of a tit guy myself.
Yeah.
But the moment I moved here, because I live in Portugal now, which is really close, which has a lot of Brazilians, you know?
Okay.
This place is slowly but steadily turning me into an ass man.
Yeah, that's the Brazilian stereotype. It's just, you're just getting inundated with it so heavily that you know you're gonna convert at some point. Resistance is futile, as it were.
Yeah, it truly is. I think they're like at one point they're gonna baptize me in just like a pair of ass cheeks.
They're gonna baptize you in an ass, yeah.
Yeah. Gonna hold my nose and dive into that ass. And then like one like weird bald Brazilian guy will pull me out of there and be like, "You are now part of the ass club, my son." And it'll be like, "Obrigado, my friend."
Hail to the ass.
Hail to the ass. Then I'll start kneeling down and pray and hope I get some of that ass. The love of ass will follow me forever. I hold ass in my heart until the day I die.
There's a tweet that I always think of, and I don't remember who made it, but it was one man's ass is another man's dinner. It's like, as opposed to like one man's trash is another man's treasure. I really love that play on it, and I think it's really great.
That's pretty fucking funny.
Yeah, it's a great tweet. I wish I remembered where it came from.
That's really good. Oh yeah, dude. Oh, fuck. I had a lot of those tweets where I would actually fucking die laughing, and like a day after, I could not remember for the life of me what happened, or what it said, or what it read, and I could never find it again. And it's just so sad when you lose those things.
There are 3 tweets that I always come back to that are locked in my head because I have laughed so hard that I've cried at them. And this is me being very like open and transparent, as this is the shit that makes me laugh in the year of our Lord 2020. I saw most of these probably 2018, 2019, but let's first, all intents and purposes, right now. The first one was a video of a dog laying down on a, I'm fucking laughing now. It was a dog laying down on like a tile floor, laying on its side, leg cocked, head just like looking up at nothing, just like frozen in place, and it's pissing so much. Like there's a huge puddle underneath the dog, and the caption, like, it's a Snapchat video, and it's like moving from the puddle back to the dog's face, which is just blank. And the caption is, "Are you fucking kidding me?" And it was just always funny, the idea that this person walked into the room, it was happening, and then you filmed it, and the dog is just like frozen, and it's pissing buckets, dude. It is pissing so much. It's so much piss. And when I saw that, I saw it in the morning one day, and it was the funniest fucking thing I've ever seen. Like the video, it was so funny to me.
I had this motherfucking video, and I don't remember where I found it or who it's by, but it's this gun guy. I think he like reviews old like weapons.
Yeah, like muskets and things.
And yeah, like stuff like that. And he says like, right here we have a really fun pistol. It's like an inch pistol. It's like really short, and he calls it like the giggle gun or something. And he shoots it, and he goes, "Brr," and then he giggles in a way that fucking murders my entire life every fucking time. He goes, "Brr, You laugh like that. I don't know why. I find it so funny.
The other, one tweet that I always go back to is this one. It actually influenced the way that I talk. Where the tweet is, this is verbatim. This is the tweet. It's like, I suck, ? Yeah, your dick maybe, idiot. And I always love that because it's the idiot that punctuates it. And that got me saying idiot a lot, like calling people idiots. I started doing it again because of that. And that crossed over into calling people dweebs, calling people cowards, like just like really like hard words to call people. Like that, but that tweet, like, I suck, yeah, your dick maybe, idiot, is so, like, it was so funny to me. And I think that the account that tweeted it has been deleted, which sucks, but it's a great tweet.
Yeah. Dude, like, even like you had this weird inspiration for my speech as well, because, like, during the whole KSP time, I started calling people my dude a whole lot.
Yeah.
And I still do that. It's ingrained in my mind. It sucks.
Well, you don't have to say it sucks and that you hate it. I mean, that's my lasting legacy after all. I'm ruining some poor Swiss kid's vocabulary for years and years.
No, because there's one thing I also remember. And this one is also, because this is like a thing I yell out now when I'm really, really drunk. Mm-hmm. It's just like, I'll go home and I'll think of something and I'll be like, oh, nobody's ever thought of this before. I'm a pioneer! I invented this! I'm a pioneer!
I'm an explorer.
I'm an explorer. That was it. I just keep yelling, I'm a pioneer everywhere. Yeah. And
that was originally taken. Like, I started yelling that because it was like an Alex Jones video. And it was so funny to me that he was yelling about being a pioneer and an explorer. The context to that, I remember the episode of The Big Kibosh where that was done, where I was talking about someone who was being annoying on Twitter and just viewed trolling as just reporting accounts and getting the ban and being like, oh, well, I'll get this account banned too. And it's like, this isn't what trolling was. Like, when I was upset with somebody, I fucking went after them and I called them names aggressively until they stopped being around me. I guess that's what we stopped doing. I'm a pioneer. I'm an explorer.
Oh my god, I have to admit, I miss those memes from the TBK times. Even like the fucking like they're throwing streamers everywhere.
Yeah,
that was also fucking gold. I just start throwing streamers everywhere. It's gonna be so much fun. I think that was the G1. I think
I made a joke on TBK regularly. Like, this is a joke that I made a couple times. It's like I was just talking about, like, I was here and something happened and I started just throwing streamers at my computer. I just started throwing streamers.
Yeah.
But then I made because that was just like a thing in wrestling. It's like, oh, they're getting introduced. People throw streamers to show excitement.
Yeah.
But I remember I made a joke where I was talking about, I don't remember who it was, but it was someone I didn't like. And it's like, I mean, I'm going to be there. I'm going to be in the crowd. They're going to introduce him winning. And I'm going to throw streamers, but I'm going to tape them. And they're going to be solid. I'm just going to throw them at his fucking head.
Was that fucking, fucking Paul? Was it Avadano?
I don't know. I made the joke with a lot of people.
Yeah. Dude, I just remembered. Okay, so there's one more thing that in my mind will be your legacy.
Okay.
It's the whole suitcase thing during the drinking things. I was actually
yeah, that was great.
Yeah. I was actually fucking marking out. I was legitimately, like, I vividly remember, like, sitting on a bus on my way to my internship and listening to that. And, like, finishing it, and I think it was Zach and
Mikey.
Yeah, it was, and Mikey won.
Yes.
And I was like, oh wow, thank God this is over. But there's still like 15 minutes left. That's weird.
Might have been more than that, honestly. So okay, let me explain it, because I'm gonna give just a bit more context for the people who are listening who might not know who I am, what TBK is, who Zach and Mikey are. So once upon a time, I did a podcast called The Big Kibosh. Can't find it on the internet now. What can you do? So I had these drinking contests, these drinking championship contests, where we would take shots until someone threw up. I wasn't the champion at the time. So what happened was I didn't lose a contest to this guy, Zach. And so Zach was going to, but he had cheated and I had cheated. So I decided I'm just going to give up the title. Zach will face someone else. And that will end up being who the drinking champion is. So on the episode where I announced that I was going to be, that next week Zach was going to face someone, I was doing the outro for the podcast and I started doing it and then I kicked the wall or something. And I said, ow. And so I stopped the outro to my podcast and I started talking about, I got this new suitcase. Or I got this new briefcase and I was keeping it under my desk. So I'm gonna and I just fucking kicked it like an idiot. I just started kicking my feet. I just played it real nonchalant. So I said, I'm gonna take the suitcase out. I'm gonna put it over there for safekeeping. The next episode, I was starting to do the outro and I said, oh, you know what? I put my suitcase over there. Maybe next week I'll bring it back and we can try to conquer our demons. So the next week, Zach was facing another listener of the podcast named Mikey. And these two...
AKA Bitch Tits, I Suck Dick.
AKA Bitch Tits, I Suck Dick. That was just another thing that came up on the show that you can't find anymore. What can you do? Great references. So Zach and Mikey had this forever drinking contest. They just kept drinking. And at the end of it, Mikey finally won. And Mikey was there, and I was just kind of leading, just kind of talking in a circle, kind of vague. It's like, all right, so Mikey, before we crown you champion, I have something to say. And I'm like going and congratulating him and all that. And then I talk about the briefcase or suitcase that was under my desk, and I pulled it out. There was no suitcase. It was a audio experience. And so I pulled it out and I said that the suitcase was actually the Money in the Bank briefcase. And so Mikey just had a drinking contest and now he has to face me. So he was so mad. Mikey didn't talk to me for a month. He was so mad. And we took 3 shots and he's like, I'm not fucking doing this. He didn't throw up. He just said, fuck this. You're a piece of shit, Forrest. Fuck you. And so I declared myself the winner. And poor Zach drank and he's in Australia. So when I was doing the podcast, it was basically the morning for him. So he was out of commission, hugging a toilet bowl for hours and just dead all day. Mikey, he'd canceled a date with a girl because to be able to finish this drinking contest, and then I just fucked him. He didn't talk to me for a month. He was really upset with me. It was such a fun. I think this was November 2016. So this is nearly 4 years ago now. And it was so good. The memory of that is so fun to me. And just the next week I came out and I was talking about how, I script everything. Everything on this podcast is scripted. And, I laid the seeds for that turn 3 weeks ago with the briefcase underneath the desk. And I'd been messaging my co-host about all right, so here's what the plan is. We're going to do this. We're going to do this. We're going to do this. I'm going to cash in this briefcase. And it worked out so well that that's one of the best time periods of the Big Kibosh ever. I think late 2016, where everything was kind of this drinking contest and everything was kind of it was all filtering into November 2016 was such a strong time for that podcast.
Definitely. From a fan's perspective, we had no idea what was going on.
Oh no. How could you?
Because we had no idea because we just came off the Royal Drinking Championship Rumble.
Yeah, it was a battle royal. It was 4 people taking drinks. Initially, it was all at staggered times. I would just get mad and say, "All right, drink 2 shots," and then I was like, "All right, we're gonna get everybody uniform. We're gonna have an honest drinking contest." And yeah, we like that had happened the last week, and Mikey won that so that he could face Zach.
Yeah. And coming off that, I was rooting for Zach because Zach is my buddy, and I was actually like rooting for Zach to win, and when Zach lost, it was sad. And like I in the back of my mind, there was always just like, what is Forrest up to? Because he wouldn't just talk about this stupid briefcase for 3 weeks in a row. He wouldn't do that. Because I know him well enough. I've seen enough shows to know he's a sly bastard, and he has something up his sleeve. But during the show, that just faded away until he started talking about it again, and then it was like the Undertaker losing to Brock Lesnar, you know? It was just like no, 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 and then like you said like the words, I'm cashing in,
Yeah.
and like I said, I was on the bus filled with people, and I just said no out loud, and people were looking at me, and I was laughing my fucking ass off.
Yeah, it's so good.
Pointing at my phone like, I'm sorry, this is so much fun. And the people were like looking at me weird, and like I didn't normally, I would be very ashamed of laughing out loud like that, but I just didn't give a fuck because it was so entertaining and so much fun.
Yeah.
And like it was, I would say it was great TV. If it had visuals,
Yeah.
it would also work. If it was like a movie, it would have also worked. It was just great storytelling.
Yeah.
In a fucking
it worked.
show.
It worked out so well. Like obviously, like there were moving parts that I wasn't involved with. The idea was I wasn't gonna screw over Mikey. I wasn't planning on doing it to Mikey. I was planning on doing it to Zach. Like after I had the drinking contest with Zach, the plan was Zach will win the drinking contest against the other person, and then I'll just screw over Zach again. And eventually I'll have a drinking contest with Zach honestly, and Zach will win. But then Zach didn't beat Mikey, and so I was like, I guess I gotta do it again with Mikey. I had so many ways to bullshit my way to drinking championship victories. One that I never got to do was I was gonna introduce it as like the G1 tournaments, and I was gonna something to do with G, and I was gonna bring on some insane drinker, like someone incredible. And so what happens is we were gonna drink until I threw up, and then what would happen is they have to drink after I throw up. They have to drink one more shot so that they have one more shot than me. And I was gonna say like, congratulations, you've drank more shots than me. However, the G in G1 does stand for golf rules. So I've got the lower number, which means that I never got to use that one. But
you were talking about that.
Yeah, I talked about that for months. I had that idea for a really long time. I still maintain that's a great idea. I wish I could have I would have brought Mikey onto, because I had a rematch with Mikey where I was going to be honest, and it was on no notice, and I said that we're going to do it to the death. Like, I'm going to drink to the death. Like, I'm going to throw up, and then I'm just going to keep drinking. And Mikey pitied me and gave up and said like, look, I'm not going to drink and kill you, Forrest. You win. And I gave this big, long, passionate speech. And then the next week, I said something to the effect of, I gave that big speech and everybody really liked it. Mikey's on the line. But I found some audio in the post show that I think really exemplifies this. And you can hear Mikey say, "Oh no." And I played a Kenny Omega promo at the end of Honor Rising 2017, where he's talking about, he's doing his whole Kenny promo. It's like, oh, there's no good guy, there's no bad guy, there's no good, there's no evil, we're gonna own this company that we love, and we're gonna own this sport. Oh, and he says Tanahashi. He's like, oh, and Tanahashi. But I dubbed in the voice. It's like, and oh, Mikey Carbonara. Oh yeah, I'm talking to you, you old fucker. This is my company now. And so the audio cuts, and I just yell out, no rematch. And he's like, and he gets it. He's like, what? And I'm like, yeah, fuck you. So I had so much goodwill from the week before because I gave this big long speech about how I'll die for this show, and then I'm talking to Mikey. It's like I'm gonna offer him a rematch. I play this audio, And then I just yell no rematch, and he's clearly so taken aback by it because he just says, "What?"
just thinking about that and reliving that is so it's just I just miss it. I just really miss it. It was so much fun. The community was really great.
Yeah, it was different.
It was just fun. Would you ever want to do one of those matches again?
Oh, drinking championship matches?
Yes.
No, I'm old and washed and don't have a podcast.
Oh, well, what are we on right now?
Relax, all right? Look, like, a pre-recorded podcast is very different. Like, it's a very different atmosphere. Like, there have been feelings where it's like, oh, do I want to go do a podcast again? Maybe, but I wouldn't want to do it live. And but like, regardless of all of that, like the live atmosphere of people being involved in it and all of that, that's cool. Like that's part of it. But also, I'm old and washed, man. Like, I don't know what happened. Like I've drank one time, like a lot. It was like in August. I just drank a ton, like so many shots. I don't even know how many. And I was doing like a 6-hour live stream on YouTube where I was watching my Jay White video, and I just kept fucking drinking. And I was like, I probably had 4 shots left in the bottle, and it's like this would be a waste. But I'm so out of my mind, and I just was like, I'm gonna finish the bottle, and I had just so much piss and vinegar in me. Like I was sitting with poison in my heart. It was bad. But outside of that, I can't drink for shit anymore. Like, obviously, the competitive nature would bring it out, but I don't think that I could go the way that I used to. Like, the average that I would get to, at least, it was 20. Like, I'd be able to do 20 shots with people, but man, it wasn't a good show. It wasn't a good showing. Like, it was like I couldn't do that anymore. Like, I don't think I could get to 20.
Okay. Well, I mean that's fine. But like, I always wanted to do it because, like, even during that time when I was still like 16, 17, I would be like, I challenge you, Forrest, and you'd be like, shut the fuck up, don't try.
Yeah, don't. Yeah, you're a little big for your britches right now. Like, let's calm down. Let's have a conversation when it's not 4 a.m. for you, Foop.
Yeah, and like at this point, I'm confident in my drinking abilities, where I think I could win. Maybe not from you, but this is my plan, and I know our beloved Jay is listening to this. That I want to try it against him, and I want you to be the referee.
Interesting. I can't tell you how much I would hate that, if I'm being honest. Like, being a sober person around drunks, wrangling drunks is hard. It's difficult.
I know.
And it was always a thing on my podcast where I would, like, I was always the one drinking, and my co-host was sober. So it was like, all right, well, we're just wrangling drunks. But when I was sober and he was sober, I had a person to talk and make jokes with, and there would be people on the line, and then I would tell them to drink. So I always liked that aspect, but it was always like through the lens of it's my show. It's like I'm still having a conversation with another sober person, but so I could talk to a sober person. They're just also drunk. I'm not saying that I absolutely wouldn't in a million years, but it would have to be. It would be a different. I don't think I could do it on this podcast. Like, I would have to do it on like one of my live streams or something like that. Like, it would have to be something where it's organized, and I would like it would have to be something like that. And I'm not opposed, but there would have to be some planning that went into it. I don't know how much people who listen to the Big Kibosh, I don't know how much they realize, like, how much planning went into each episode. Like, it didn't come off like that, I don't think. But there was a lot, like, the episodes were, like, pretty hard. Like, I had my points written out on pieces of paper and, like, details that I wanted to go into. Like, I had everything written out for the show, and I always knew, like, I would just get sidetracked and talk about things and be very casual with my co-host. But I always knew where I was going to go. And so that level of preparation, I try to bring to everything that I make. And so if this would be a drinking contest, I would have to sort of take over the organizing of it, and I'll let the two talent do what the two talent do.
Right. I just
You have been wanting to call me out for a while. Like, you would tweet me saying, I want to challenge you for the drinking contest, and I'm like, relax. Like, it's 2019. I haven't had a podcast for months now.
Yeah, it's just I wouldn't say I just miss it. It's just This is coming from like a fan, you know, because I mean I think I told you this. It was like during that time, and I'm gonna be like really open with this. Yeah. Like during the time when I found the TBK and the whole show, I wouldn't say in a bad spot like, with my life, but like I wasn't particularly happy.
Yeah.
And the whole show in general just kind of it gave me laughs where I wouldn't normally get laughs.
Yeah.
And it would make my week a whole lot better. And I think that's why I have so many fond memories of that time.
Sure.
It was just listening and like laughing along. It was fun. It was just a whole lot of fun. And yeah, it was. I think that's why I think it was so important to me.
For sure. Like, I mean, that's absolutely a valid standpoint. I'm not gonna I'm not gonna make any wild claims here, but there are talks at the moment of like I want to start doing a podcast again, and like I want to because I talk about a lot of shit like in personal conversations, and it's like, so like being opinionated never really goes away, and the skill set is still there. Like I do live streams, I do them long, I talk a lot, and so like there's something to the lung capacity, the cardio to be able to do long form stuff, because I've been doing YouTube for like 2 years now, just because that's a medium that I enjoyed making things with. And, you know, I started doing YouTube and I was doing a podcast at the same time. Last year, I stopped doing TBK for a litany of reasons, like a lot of personal reasons. But it's also, it was mostly, I didn't feel like that was the medium that I wanted anymore. Like the TBK at the end, it was like December 2018, essentially. Like I was talking about how aware I was becoming of like my depression and how much it was affecting me, because that was when I would start going out and trying to date. And it just sort of exacerbated all of the negativity that I felt towards myself and all of the unresolved insecurities that I had. And in January, I did like 1 or 2 episodes. I did one episode. It was episode. It was 179, and it was called Riley. And it was like just kind of the encapsulation of that Tinder era of the Big Kibosh, where I was doing a lot, like all the podcasts that I did around that time were live streams, and I was drunk because it was fun to do shows while drunk. I did a show, but then I didn't do anything after that. Like I didn't do anything for a while, for months, because the Big Kibosh at that point was basically like my emotional outlet. Like it was a podcast that I did where this is where I talked about the things that make me sad and the things that upset me and like how my brain works. And so it's kind of just a low rent version of therapy. It always kind of was. Like it's kind of the place where I vent about my personal misgivings. But like the podcast just became that. And then after Riley, I started talking to another girl, and things were going really well. And so I didn't have anything to talk about on the podcast because I wasn't unhappy. And no one wants to hear a podcast where it's like, hey guys, really, really happy. And I wasn't doing anything. I was going to work and talking to this girl. I did one podcast, episode 180, where I talked about a trip that I took to New York. It was, 3 hours long, and it happened in April. And then I did one last episode of The Big Kibosh because I'd broken up with, this girl had broken up with me. And I was upset, and I didn't know what else to do. Like, it was weeks after the breakup, and I was like, I'm not feeling any better. And so I just went back to what made me feel better before. It didn't really work. And so it's like the podcast is not like, this isn't the medium for me anymore. So I started just leaning more into YouTube and just other stuff. But as time goes on, the itch to make things comes back, and podcasting is a medium that I know and I understand. Like, obviously landscapes change and all that, but I was never really looking to make this big podcast full of advertisement and get a bunch of deals and money and shit, right? So it was a creative medium for me and nothing else. Like, it was the long form medium. And that was what I always liked about it. That was what got me into podcasting, like the honest talking about your life. And that was what inspired me to do podcasts. That was the podcast that I did. And now it's like there are a lot of personal feelings that I have and a lot of weird vibes that I get regarding the archives of my podcast. So it's like it's kind of reconciling that within myself and just the personal growth that I've been trying to undergo, and kind of reconciling that with the actual episodes of the podcast, because I have a lot of fond memories of the podcast. Like of course, like these are some of the best memories that I have in my life. Like, this is stuff that I've created. This is years and years of my life just put onto audio. But I'm not necessarily proud of the person that I was and how I treated people. And so it's just sort of reconciling that within me. But recently, I started thinking a lot about how much I talk about personal things with friends of mine, and how much I'm not getting from YouTube as a creative medium. I love talking about wrestling on YouTube. I love talking about MMA on YouTube. Those are great spaces to create something, but there is still that hole that is in there, and I can ignore it for as long as I can, but that itch, that creative itch, just keeps coming back. And so I started giving serious thought about bringing back the Big Kibosh it wouldn't be the same as it was. It wouldn't be, a live show airing every Tuesday at whatever time. It would be a pre-recorded thing like it was for a long time after I brought it back in 2018. But I think that it's something that I've been talking about with some people. I'm talking to, I don't know what I'm teasing for. Who's listening to this? I've been talking to Foop. I think you'll appreciate this. I've been talking to Nathan Bell a lot. I talk to Nathan Bell more than I talk to anybody in my life. Nathan's one of like my legitimate best friends. I talk to Nathan more than I talk to anybody about anything. And like legit, like I talk to Nathan damn near every day. And when I was bringing it up to him, he said that if I was going to start a podcast again, that he would be down if I would have him. And that sort of changed up how I was thinking about things, because I have wanted to work. I want to work with Nathan all the time. And Nathan has been talking about how much he, how much creatively, how much he wants to do stuff. So yeah, it's always like, if I were to bring back the Big Kibosh, which I'm not going to hard commit to doing, I think that it would be a much more casual thing. It wouldn't be the same as it was in 2016 and 2017 and 2015, like going back to the KSP days. It wasn't even that when I brought it back in 2018. But it would be something that is like, here's this creative platform that I have no real compulsion. Like, I don't feel any pressure to make this bigger. I don't feel any pressure to make this grander. But I feel like this is what I'm really good at. And it's expressing myself through a microphone in a long form capacity. And so, you know, when you talk about, you know, you're a fan and how much you miss it, it's like it sort of I don't know, consoles me a little bit of like, if I did make this, there would be an audience for it. And I'm not looking to even grow my audience. Like I know I like and am satisfied with the audience that I've cultivated. But I also know that, because I made a tweet a little bit ago saying I've been thinking about podcasting. This tweet means very different things to very different people. And you could tell who was commenting on that, who knows what that means for old fans of mine, and people who know what that, who think they know what that means for, like, you know, YouTube fans, because they heard me do a podcast with some other guys about wrestling that got taken down, and they've heard me do live streams, and they know me as kind of an insightful wrestling guy. So I think that it would be interesting, now that I have kind of a different audience. Like, the audience isn't just people who listen to TBK, and if any of them crossed over and started listening to my podcast, that would be great. But I think that it's important to not pigeonhole yourself into, well, this is what people want to listen to regarding content. Like, people listen to me for wrestling, and it's like, well, I want to talk about more than wrestling, but I don't want to make videos about it. So what's the creative platform that I have? It's podcasting. That's what I know. That's what I can make an hour-long podcast in my sleep. Like, it's not difficult to tap into those old skills, Foop. I can dust myself off a little bit, play the Toby Keith song, I Ain't As Good As I Once Was, and just, you know, basically what I'm saying is, like, you know, some people could hang my jersey from the rafters and say, you know, he was a good one, but I'm like, hold on, like, once the jersey goes up there, you can't take it back down. You can't unretire your jersey. But so I'm like, hold on, no. Like, maybe you can put it up there, but maybe I'm not quite done yet. Yeah,
I mean, for me, and I mean, I don't want to speak for Jay as well, but for me in particular, when we started our YouTube channel, it was always in the mind of, we don't need to be the next beauty pie. We don't need to be the next big thing. We just want to make.
Oh, I was saying, of course. Like, your goal shouldn't be, I'm gonna get on and make content to be huge. Like, you make stuff you like, and if there's like a creative spark in you, then that will, like, obviously you're gonna feel satisfaction from seeing things grow. But I mean, like, I'm currently in copyright trouble with my YouTube channel. If they take down my YouTube channel, that'll really suck, but I'm gonna make a new one, and I'm gonna keep making videos. Like, I don't make it for a big audience. I make YouTube videos so that, because it's the medium that I like. I like the work of it. The videos are more for me than they are for anybody else.
Yeah, and I think that's like what people need to use when they create something. Like, it doesn't even mean like a podcast or a YouTube channel or an OnlyFans thing. You know, it doesn't have to be, and it can be anything as long as you have the passion and the spark to create. Yeah. It will always be kind of cathartic for everyone. Like, when it comes to music or whatever. Like, me doing this and creating something which I can be proud of and have fun with making, and especially with you, because like, you are part of this spark within me to create and to entertain. That just, I mean, even if it's only one person, even if it's just my mother or my sister or myself and Jay, and you know, that spark will only leave if I don't like making what I'm making anymore.
Yeah.
And I'll have to find something else, but I'll always find something new that will reignite that.
Yeah, like
I think that's really important.
It's a spark that you can't fake. Like, you can't do something that inspires you to create. Like, if I don't make something, all I do is think about making something. Like, there was, after I left KSP, November 2017, I didn't make a podcast. I didn't make videos. I didn't make anything until I guess it would have been
like a year later.
No, it wasn't a year. It would have been May or June of 2018. So it wasn't super long. It was like 6 months, but it didn't take long before I started thinking, okay, I want to make stuff again. Like I want to make a podcast. I want to make this. I was just thinking about the ways I could make things. What could I do with them? So, and like this is something that like I now and then I'll talk to former KSP fan Max Murder. I'll talk to him and he'll talk about how sometimes he wants to make something. And I tell him, like, you know, with all due respect, Max, like, I never got the vibe from you of a creative. Like, you were around a lot of creative people. You were in those spaces, so it felt like you were forced to create just to fit in. But I never got the vibe from him that he had that spark inside him, like something that would gnaw at you. That like it's all you think about if you're not doing it. And you know, a lot of people try to fake it, and it's fine to try to fake it. But from my experience, you can tell when someone is making something to profit from it, and you can tell when they're making something that they honestly believe in. Like you can tell, and it's getting increasingly more difficult with the way the podcast market has changed. Like podcasts and podcast networks are getting, you know, multi-million-dollar deals with big DSPs and stuff like that. And, you know, ads for podcasts are not necessarily drying up, but they're kind of just going to the top because there's a trillion podcasts now. So it feels like, hey, like it's just getting homogenized like music did, and like video games streaming did, and like esports did. Like everything that is big and honest, eventually people clue into that and say, we want to make money off of that. So they dump a lot of money into paying a lot of people for their brand, for their, you know, to license their shit or to own them outright. In the case of things like The Ringer for Spotify, like Spotify owns The Ringer now. And that's a big network of podcasts that, you know, are pretty reasonably large. So it's like, obviously it's hard to determine, because the people who make podcasts generally in years past, they were like, you know, they were pretty honest people. Like they were honestly making something because they wanted to make something. Now, when you make something, it seems like it's less of a I want to make something and more I want to try to make some money out of being a podcaster, because now it's been proven that it's not necessarily a viable career choice, but that it is something you can make money from.
Yeah, I mean, I think you can always tell when people have like actually genuinely want to create.
Yeah.
It's always just the way they approach their show and their art is really just is indicative of how much they actually want to create and how much they actually just want to make money.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it was the same thing that happened with YouTube, right? Like, people got popular on YouTube, and it inspired a bunch of people to just start making YouTube stuff. Then big companies and YouTube itself started, you know, rolling out, like, they had to be more strict because more people were coming to their platform. And then there's just a lot of weird rules and laws that they have to abide by, because now there's more corporate interests in YouTube groups. And now YouTube is obviously not a dead platform, but it's far less of a viable avenue unless you already were like involved with it and huge from it.
Yeah, definitely. It's like YouTube right now is like an ocean, but there's only like a few islands that are like actual real islands. The rest are all just plastic stacked on top of each other. It's not. There are a few really good, genuine people on YouTube itself. Most of it is just, I wouldn't call it trash, but it's watered down. It's literally watered down. It's all. Most of them are in vain of money, or just in pursuit of money, and there are some that genuinely just want to create, and they're hard to find, in my opinion. I think everyone has in the back of their mind is always like, if the chances presented themselves, we are going for that sponsorship deal.
Yeah.
And I think if you genuinely want to create, you wouldn't immediately go for that. You would actually read the contract they send you and be like, I'm not going to sacrifice my integrity of what I want to make in order to get money from you.
Man, I would sell out so fast. God, you'd be shocked at how fast I'd sell out. God, someone please contact me with that. Like, seriously, if AEW contacted me tomorrow and said, listen, we're willing to pay you like $100 to talk good about us for a month, I would take that so fast. I would sell out so quickly for a shockingly little amount. You'd be shocked at how fast I'd say yes, and shocked at how little money that I'm willing to sell out for. You have no idea. I'm ready to sell out, but I am not someone people look to sell out. I don't have the audience, and I'm crazy. So no one's looking at me to sell out, but I'm like, please give me a chance to sell out.
Oh yeah, like me and Jay as well. We just like I think one of the jokes we had like in one of our Head in Time episodes was like, we want to be sponsored by like Burger King or Taco Bell because like it's just like we've never had Taco Bell before because it's not a thing in the Netherlands, and we just really want Taco Bell. So like, please sponsor us. We'll say everything we want. We just want Taco Bell. Oh. So we've been going for like an hour and like 15 minutes around that time. So do you have any closing statements that you want to make? Because we aim to keep this like an hour.
Yeah, you know, the thing with me is that it's hard to keep that shit under an hour. Like I'm a rambler. I'll talk for 15 straight minutes. I'm gonna chew up a quarter of that hour off rip.
I know.
But all right, you don't gotta agree like too enthusiastically. You can be like, no, Forrest, you're all right. It's only 13 minutes. No. But no, there's not really a closing statement. Like it's nice to be, you know, talking on a podcast again. Like it's nice to not have to think about like, oh, where's the conversation going? And you can kind of tell that I'm still gonna try to lead it because it's hard for me not to. Yeah. Like, you know, those instincts and that selfishness is still there. But yeah, like I think that podcasting is something that I've been thinking a lot about, and it's nice to be able to do it without a lot of pressure. And like there's not really a lot of pressure if I were to do it. Like there's really only pressure from myself to make it good. And I don't know if we hit that goal. I have no idea. Jay will have to tell me when he's editing this. But yeah, I enjoyed my time here thoroughly on the what is the podcast? It's like the Disgusting Gamers or whatever, Douchebag Gamers.
Yeah, Douchebag Gamers, Gaming Douchebags, GD. Just call it GD.
Okay, Gaming Douchebag. I thought Disgusting Gamers is not. That's a little bit more negative of a connotation.
That's our ad on Twitter. Disgusting Gamers.
Like fuck, they printed it wrong.
That's gonna be on our shirts, and that's gonna be our second channel.
Yeah, but I've thoroughly enjoyed my time on the Gaming Douchebags podcast. Dude, wish I could have met Jay, but you know, we'll see what happens if I organize this drinking contest.
He's an asshole anyway, so don't bother. No, but I'm really glad I had you on, and I really want to thank you once again for being here and kind of realizing a dream of mine to work with you on this. This was a whole lot of fun, and listening to you again talk about random shit and talk about stupid stuff just it made me feel warm and fuzzy inside, and I just really enjoyed
Hey man,
it.
anytime. I like
Thank you very
like
much.
someone trying to be like sincere, being like, yeah. No, you're welcome, man.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, it's cool. Fuck, thank you. Thank you so much. Oh my god, alright, so this is the Game Douchebags podcast channel episode, whatever the fuck it is, I don't care. I hope you everybody enjoyed, and we'll see you, I'll see you in the next episode, maybe next time I won't be here and Jay will be here. I don't fucking know, we'll see. Thanks once again, bye!
So anyway, bitches, I'm back. Hey everyone, just a little announcement thing on whatever the fuck this podcast was. First of all, I want to thank Forrest very much for being on this podcast with Foop. I think you did an amazing job keeping Foop happy for at least an hour, which is an achievement in and of itself, let's be honest. And on a secondary note, Foop, thank you very much for organizing this, even though I haven't been all that active with doing anything for GD lately. I really do want to get back into doing more shit for GD, so expect more content, hopefully more regularly in the next, let's say, month or so. The last months have been really tumultuous for me, a bit difficult at times, but I don't want to be a Debbie Downer on YouTube, so let's keep that for another time. So for now, thank you guys all for listening. Perhaps watching if you are one of those types of people who watches podcasts on YouTube, which is fucking weird. And we'll see you all in the next one. Take care.